Whisky lovers. Okay, so we're taking a brief break in the look of our Starward trilogy to try this week's delivery from the Whisky Club. As I said last week, the Whisky Club takes preference for these videos simply because I want the videos out there. But we do have a backlog that we'll be enjoying over the next few weeks as we enjoy the rest of the Starwards, and then we've got the Father's Day Bonanza. Alright, so this week's delivery is from the Aberlour Distillery. Aberlour Distillery was established in 1879 by James Fleming. It is located in Aberlour, Strathspey, Scotland. It can be found at the confluence of the Loch Burn, the River Spey, and it's near the Ben Rhines. In fact, the site was chosen specifically so we could get the water from the Ben Rhines because of the pink granite, and they believed it had some sort of magical properties. Oh, at least a good selling point, I suppose. It's a small distillery. He secured it from the Earl of Fife and built his distillery in 1879 and produced his first whiskies in December 1880. In 1892, he sold his business to acting agents Robert Thorne and Sons. And there's really not much else to talk about the distillery itself, but James Fleming did have a major and significant legacy for Aberlour. He built their first meeting place, the Fleming Hall, in 1889, and in 1900 he built the Fleming Cottage Hospital, providing isolation accommodation to limit the spread of infectious diseases. Wow, that's rather pathetic. Anywho, he's also known for, after his death, he left the local people a large sum of money in order to build a steel wire footbridge over the River Spey to the Burn so that it remained connected with the village of Charlestown. So, obviously, a man who really cared about his community. I have had before from Aberlour, I think it was one of their cask strengths, the Abundar, through the club. Anyway, so this particular offering is their double cask matured. So it's been matured in American oak casks and then in Spanish sherry casks. And it's a 14-year-old. So let's get into it. There we go. Okay, so as we can already see, the influence of the sherry casks is imbuing this with a nice ruby amber-like colour. Okay, so we have the underlining citrus that I've come so well to attribute to Speyside whiskies. You can have some sort of stone fruit, cherries maybe, underlying smell of blackcurrant. Hint of spice. Alright, there we go. Okay, so that's nice and smooth and a little bit creamy, a little bit thicker than I was expecting. Sweet, with a more subtle spice to it. Hint of oak. Maybe a touch of vanilla. I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. So this is the Aberlour Double Cask Mature 14-year-old. So if you're enjoying these videos and you're really interested in trying some of these whiskies, I really recommend joining the Whisky Club. We don't just have whiskies. They've been hosting all this year virtual tastings with the distilleries they get their whiskies from. It's been absolutely fascinating to have these virtual tours around the distilleries, learning some of the history from the people that actually work there. You can find the club on Facebook, and if you're not a member, you can at least join in on the virtual tastings. It's absolute fun. Yeah. So, until next time, Santé. Oh, and as a side note, someone I know joined the club, and currently I have a reference number. So they asked me for it, and before they joined, and cited my reference number, and I ended up getting a free sample. And ironically, it's the Starward Fortis, which will probably be airing next week. So this is actually a great drop. I really enjoyed it. So check out next week's video for my actual tasting notes on it. And yeah, like I said, Santé.